Welcome to the show. We hope you have a blast. Thanks for making time for the Dealer Talk podcast. Another business leader, here's a penny for your thoughts. This ain't a regular conversation, baby. This that Dealer Talk. Yeah.
What up? Welcome to another episode of the Dealer Talk podcast. This is your host, Herb Anderson. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's check in. I don't even want to say co-host anymore because of the conversation we had on the last one. Let's just check in with Charity. What's up, Charity? How you doing?
Checking. I'm pretty good. I have to tell you that I cannot hear you say check in anymore without
hearing chicken. Let's check in. You're just waiting for me to fail. That's not.
No, I don't think it's a
very
fail at
you.
all. No, I don't think that's a fail at all. Are you kidding me? You speak 2 languages fluently, 3 languages. Like, that's not a failure.
I was just going to say,
you
dude,
said
like,
check
I speak
in.
3 languages.
I speak 1.1 languages.
Well, you did pretty good on our Spanish meeting the other day. So you said, hola.
You know what threw me off about that meeting?
Yeah, I know what threw you off. I'm going to say, you said something in English and he responded to what you said in Spanish. And you're like, oh shit, he knows what I'm saying.
Well, yes, I thought that. But then I was also, did he just respond to me? Was he responding to me? Or was he responding? Yeah, that threw me off. How do you do that? Okay, from the perspective of knowing like a tenth of the language, right? It's overwhelming. And that's just if they're in English or in full Spanish. I don't know how you flip back and forth.
I don't know. My brain's gotten used to it, but I've been here in the United States since 1999. I still think in Spanish. So I'm always constantly translating. And then it's just weird. And then my girlfriend speaks 4 languages, and her first language is like this native language. So she's got it even worse. And you can just see sometimes, like I can see a lot of that when we talk, as both of us are like translating shit. It's the funniest thing.
Okay, but
it's pretty crazy. And it happens like in a millisecond.
Oh yeah. So when I was like 20, I worked at a hotel. I started in hotels. Did you know that?
I do now.
You do now. And my boss was bilingual. It was in Phoenix. And I was doing a crossword puzzle one time. And the question was something about sleepwalking. Like, what is another word for sleepwalking, right? How do you say sleepwalking in Spanish?
¿Cómo se dice? Caminando dormido.
Okay, that wasn't it. It was ambulating. And it was, or something like that. And she knew the answer right away because she knew the Spanish word for it. And that was just this aha moment for me where I realized that if you know multiple languages, this is going to sound so dumb, but if you know multiple languages, you know your vocabulary is twice as big as mine. So that means that your girlfriend's vocabulary is 4 times as big as mine. And
well,
twice
it depends.
as big as
so
yours.
here's where it depends. So it depends the languages that you speak, because she speaks English and Spanish, so those are good ones. But the other 2 are languages that not a lot of people speak. So you know what I mean?
What are the other 2?
One's called Guarani, which is her native language, and then French. So
do not a lot of people speak French?
It's not on the top. I mean, like I speak English, Spanish, and Mandarin, so I can pretty much talk to anybody for the most part, because those are the top 3 languages, right? So it just depends on what languages you speak. I mean, look, for your brain and stuff, like it's amazing to have that flexibility of being able to go between languages and stuff. I think that's pretty incredible. But when it comes to speaking to people, the language is the type of language that you speak. I think is more important than how many you speak.
Okay. Which languages you speak versus how many you speak.
Right. That's
okay. So,
well, I don't know. Like maybe that's because now that I say that, what if you speak 10 languages? Like that's pretty dope. I mean, for your mind, right? So,
but I can see what you're saying. Like if my ex-husband went to law school with this guy that was from Africa, and he spoke like 10 languages, and we were like, that's so cool. What do you speak? And then he would weirdly back down because most of them weren't just, but they were dialects of the same language, and he just counted them as different languages.
right.
So, I mean, I would count them as different languages. I speak English. I am very unimpressed with my linguistic skills.
Well,
something I've always
there's
wanted.
this thing called Duolingo.
I use Duolingo.
10 minutes a day, or what is it? 15 minutes a day. You can speak multiple languages very quickly. That's not a
plug for Duolingo.
It's not product placement. Duolingo's not paying us anything. We're not just.
So, but then this goes. So we were just talking off camera and about being good at a lot of things or being really good at one thing. So the difference between the way that Herb and we both like knowledge seekers. But Herb likes to be hyper-focused knowledge seeker, and Charity wants to know everything all the time. And I actually am jealous of the way that you want to know knowledge, and I want to be more like that. And I can't figure out how to do it. It feels like walking into a store. You're trying to decorate your room, so you walk into a store, and then you grab everything that makes you feel happy. And then none of it matches. That's what knowledge feels like in my brain.
Yeah, but what's the point of it?
Right. Like, then it's just a cluster.
Like, here's the thing. Like, I think we're in an age with technology and all these things where we can learn even at a more accelerated pace than before. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of people out there that say that you don't learn as well from audiobooks as you do from reading them. I kind of disagree. So I think it was right before the pandemic. So it must've been 2019. I read like 53 books, 56 books, something like that. Maybe it was more, but it was more than one book a week. And it was so many books that I had this one of those plastic tubs full from bottom to the top, full of books. And then I started this new commute where I'm driving like 4 hours a day, and and it's been like 3 years now. And in that time frame, I've been listening to books, and I don't read them at all anymore. In the beginning, it was like I would listen and then I would read, and then it was like I just couldn't do both. My brain was just exhausted, and so I was just doing the listening. I feel like I've learned more in the last 2.5 years by listening to books than when I read a book a week. I feel like my mind is just more like I'm absorbing the information better. I find myself applying it quicker. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way that I learn, but, maybe it is, to your point, maybe it's because I've been reading, like all I've been listening to for the past 2.5 years has been biographies. Like biographies of like people that I admire, people in business settings, all the way from like Napoleon to Steve Jobs. So in that spectrum. So, and I don't know, maybe just because I'm in that groove, and I'll listen to multiple biographies on the same person, and I kind of already know. So when I listen to different versions or something, I kind of feel like I already know what's going on, and it's just maybe easier for me to absorb the information.
Well, and then an audiobook is better than no book. Like if you're not going to read the book, then listen to it on audio. I saw something that said that if you listen to music at the gym, you're cheating. And I thought, if you're at the gym, does it like You're at the gym. Come on. Like, don't make people
That is
feel bad
cheating,
for
though.
not.
That's totally
No,
cheating.
no.
Absolutely is.
Mm-mm.
You can't be
You work
listening to
out
books.
without. No, I mean like music and stuff.
No, you can't be listening to music while you work out. That's dumb.
No, it's not. I feel
It
like
is.
that's like
It's the perfect
working
time
out
to
without
listen to.
music is. It's
It's
like
like the perfect time to read or to learn. Get
it
your
makes it
mind
10 times harder for me.
get your mind
But
working
I
while your
also
body's working.
use the music. I have a specific playlist because I use the beat to pace my run.
Well, yeah, it depends what you're doing. Like when I run, I like to. I don't know, man. Like I guess I got into. No, you're making me think about it. I've gotten to this groove where I just automatically listen to stuff while I work out. Yeah, I think it's been a minute since especially when I run, for sure, I'm listening to a book.
Well,
Hands
and then
down.
it's also, Pavlov's dog. I just couldn't remember which one was the cat, which one was the dog. Um, if you listen to it over and over and over and over again, now if I listen to that song and I'm not running, I want to go running. Like I just have this like
That's
crazy
good. I
urge.
like that. That's
Hmm.
really good. Huh? Never thought about that. But there's a nice that that you could put that and just that beat will get you in the mood. So when you're
Hmm.
not when you're like fuck I don't want to run today. You just listen to that song and it's like whenever I watch Rocky movies.
You want to go punch something?
As soon as the montage is over, I'm like, dude, I want to do push-ups. I want to hit the bag. I want to do something. It's like
So that
whenever I don't want to work out, I'll always just go to YouTube and put like Rocky 3, what is it? Fighting prep. And then it's hilarious.
do you remember
There's no
that?
tomorrow. Like that, the part. It always starts like that. There's no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And I'm like, shit, I just get in the groove. I'm like, okay, let's go.
You remember that motivational one that I sent you? It's probably been 2-3 years. That's like, oh, it's good. It's like 30 minutes and it starts with Arnold Schwarzenegger talking and then it goes into, but it's got the music behind it. And then it goes into that on your deathbed. That one's one of my favorites. All of the like potential is standing around at you. Have
Mm.
you know that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That one kills me.
It's funny because I had William Hollis on the program. I think it was for season 6 or season 5. It was right after my divorce, so it's probably season 6. And he talked about, like, I asked him what was the future of the motivational industry instead of the automotive industry. And he said something to the effect, I'm totally paraphrasing here, but he said, it's probably going to be something of words and music together. So
Mm-hmm.
motivational words with music and stuff. And now when I look at Instagram and I see that stuff, I'm like, dude, this guy was so dead on. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I
I
mean? Like
remember that
that's
episode.
like, it's like, that's what you see now. So yeah, I remember that one in particular that you sent me because that was one of those that had made me think of that conversation I had with him.
I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I like motivational stuff like that. I like to use
But
music to motivate. I literally do my own Pavlov's dog with myself when it
but
comes
yeah,
to
you
what I
can't.
hear.
Nobody else can motivate you. You got to motivate yourself. We've had this conversation already before. We
We have
agree to
that.
disagree. But going back to the book thing, though, here's a question that I have. What do you think is better, reading a bunch of books or reading one book a bunch of times? Hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same concept. Um,
No. How is it the same concept?
no, I'm no. The same concept as what we were just talking about, hyper focusing or lots of little things.
So they
So
listen
if
to one book, read a book, or listen to the same book for an entire year. Is that
The
better than reading 50 books in a year?
I like the idea that you have. Sorry, hang on. I like the idea that you have. Well, you listen to the same book like 5 times. Is it 5 times? 7 times?
Me?
No, I'm like, this is a thing. You're the one who taught me this. You listen
Yeah,
to a
that's what I'm saying.
book.
My rule is if you have a really good book that you really like, you should listen to it or read it at least 7 times.
Back to back.
Yeah, like don't stop. Just read it and read it and read it and read it. And every time you read it, you're like, oh shit, I missed that. How did I miss that?
I did
know
that
what I mean?
with The Obstacle is the Way, and then I went right into The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And
Oh, The Obstacle's the Way. What a great book. Shout out
both
to
of
Ryan
those are
Holiday.
so good.
And
So
then
good. And they're
he
so
did-
blurred together in my head now that I don't know which one is which.
he did Ego's the Enemy too, right after. That was a great book. Have you
You
read
need
that one?
Do I need that one?
Yeah, you need that one. That was a good book. The ego is the CEO of your brain or something like that. I was like, holy shit, dude. This guy
Maybe
has
I'll
like,
listen to that one.
that's
I've been
deep.
listening to Extreme Ownership. I like that one. I'm listening to that one right now. And then I got like halfway through How to Be a Monk. And then there's this point at which it gets like, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear anymore. Like it just got annoying. So I kind of stopped on that one.
Right now, I'm listening to one just because of some of the projects that we got going on for this year and stuff that we're hopefully getting ready to share here with everybody soon. I've been reading to this book called The Founders. That's the story of PayPal.
The Founders?
Everybody that was in that. I mean, there's Reid Hoffman. There's I can never say this guy's last name. Alex
Zuckerberg.
Melchek or something like that. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, like all these amazing dudes that started that company that all are on doing like these amazing
Elon Musk
things
was
now.
part of PayPal? How did I not know that?
Yeah, so PayPal, there was it Confinity and then something X, and they merged and it became PayPal. They overturned Elon Musk twice, and he was the main investor, the majority investor in that. And he walked away with $180 million from that deal. Then this guy took $70 million, put it into Tesla, and $100 million into SpaceX. Like what?
See, that's what I freaking love, though. I love the stories where it's
insane.
like, I took this, I got 180 million, and so I turned it around and put it right back in. Like that kind of stuff, I love. The stories where it's like, I got this much money, and then I went and bought this and this and this and this and this. Oh, that kills me.
Yeah, but look, there's only so much money you can spend when you're at that level anyway. And he was already a millionaire when he started that company that merged with to become PayPal. He had sold something to do. He had started this business with the Yellow Pages, something to do with like digital Yellow Pages or like a digital phone book or something like that. And I can't remember the name of the company escapes me, but he sold that, and I think he walked away from that deal with like $28 or $30 million. And so he took that money and started. So
that's why I'm
that's
not any good at like.
And then all the risk, and the story is great, man. Like, it's so crazy to me how PayPal even was able to survive, because PayPal became the platform inside of eBay, and eBay was already successful. Instead of them creating their own platform, which they had iterations of it, but they just never worked, PayPal had better customer service and a better experience, and they couldn't compete.
I forgot that PayPal was part of eBay.
They ended up buying it for like, I think it was $1 billion. So, but think about it.
Is PayPal part of eBay now, or no? It's its own company?
It is. Well, I don't know now. It's been years since I've been on eBay, so I don't really know. But I know
probably
back
use
in the day,
PayPal more now than I ever have in my whole existence.
Well, and it's a $350 billion company. But if they don't get their shit together, they're gonna go backwards. But think about it. Like eBay already super powerful, successful, tons of resources. In comes this company, PayPal, starts doing something that already had a lot of competition in the market, right? Like there were other platforms that were allowing you to transact digitally, and they just freaking destroyed. And I don't know, man. It's just something very
I'm sure
exciting
that there's
about that.
all kinds of motivational stuff that you can get out of that.
It's a great book. It's a fantastic book. So I'm only on my first read, so I'm gonna, next time I talk about it, I'll know more the details.
We should start a book club. Can we have a book club?
No, dude.
Oh, come on.
We're not like 70-year-old.
My mom has a book club.
Right. Anyway.
Okay. And we have Mike Trudeau on the podcast today.
Tell us about Mike.
He is the executive VP of business development for Montway Auto Transport.
Right on.
So
without further ado, let's get him on here.
Now more than ever, businesses need more efficient sales. That's why thousands of dealerships trust 4Eyes to help with things like automated inventory email updates and ensuring all of your leads get into the CRM. To try 4Eyes for free, visit 4eyes.io/dealertalk. That's 4eyes.io/dealertalk.
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us. We kick things off with an intro. So tell us about you.
Sure. So I'm currently the executive vice president at Montway Auto Transport. Been in the car haul industry for the past 8 years. So I've seen both the asset side and the brokerage side in my time in car haul. Before then, I spent time with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. There, I was into remarketing used rental vehicles, and then I ran the Enterprise car sales lots in Michigan for about 4 years before I left to join the vehicle transportation world. So,
right on.
It's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Did you say Michigan?
I did Michigan, yes.
Oh, right on. I'm from Dearborn Heights.
Oh, really? Yep. I live out in the Canton, Plymouth area.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, man, this year is going to be super interesting, and inventory is going to continue to be one of those things that is either going to make or break dealerships. And, some of the groups that I'm talking with right now in consulting and stuff, that's one of the things that we're trying to get kind of lock that in, man. It's very, very difficult. What are your thoughts? 50,000 view. Where do you see things going for 2023?
So I think a couple things, could happen. Obviously, we know that interest rates on vehicle loans are going up. And anything you read says that they're going to continue to go up, which I think that, for dealerships in general, that means that payment is going to become really important again. And really finding those payment driven cars. It's not going to be as easy as it was back in like 2008 and when this happened last time, because the average price of wholesale vehicles are plus 20,000. I mean, the days of the $15,000 retail piece are not as likely, or there's not as many out there anymore. So I think that it's going to be like in COVID, when supply was low, people had to search all over the country to find the right car.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that on the transport side. I think that trend is going to continue for a different reason, which is people are going to be trying to find the right car that fits into the right payment. And, they're going to have to look, in all 50 states to find that car that, they can make that good front end on.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. I have a little bit of a thought when it comes to that. I don't disagree with you, but what I do think that is a little bit different that we are not considering a lot of is that back in '08, we had surplus of inventory, and this time around we don't. And there's a lot of people. I mean, Cox Automotive had some crazy numbers out there. I think they said 5 million. I don't think that it's that high, but there's at least 2 to 3 million people that have been on standby or on a hold, waiting to see where things are going to fall. And they haven't transacted. So we got to take that into consideration. And then the other thing too, that's interesting to me this time around is that we don't have inventory. So if you look at SAR pre-COVID, and then we look at it now, obviously there's a big deficit in units. And I think that those things are going to carry us. Do I think that it's going to be like last year in 2021? Hell no. I think the people that are buying now are people that just were waiting, and they're probably in situations now that they can't wait any longer. And so I think that that's where things are going to tip a little bit in our favor. But yeah, I definitely agree that there's going to be challenges, slowdowns. If you're still focused on profits and things of that nature, you're not pricing your inventory correctly, I think you're going to have a rough year. So, but we'll see. It's kind of early to tell.
I agree with what you're saying as well.
Yeah. So what do you think is happening right now with EVs? Let's talk about that. And on the transportation side, I know we were pretty heavy into that topic last season. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of talk about weight and, some potential trying to
expand,
remove some of the restrictions and things of that nature to make that more of a viable situation. Any insights on that for 2023?
I mean, they definitely affect the load factor of a load. So, I mean, because of the weight. So, I mean, in terms of, cost, I mean, if you're shipping a full truckload, I mean, it's going to cost more than your typical. You're basically be paying for 8 or 9 slots on a truck. And, with those, you're talking about 6 units. We haven't, in the remarketed side, and even in some of the new, we haven't ran into very many problems thus far, and just in general with transport of vehicles, with the exception that they just take up more spots on a truck at the current moment in time.
Right on. But are you seeing, so you don't think that they're posing challenges for, like if you're like, do you think that that's causing delays or anything like that because you can't take a full truckload, or is that not the case? Like how is that whole thing?
I haven't seen it in like the used car space yet. On the new car space, for sure. But even, was it the company out in California when they were shipping, every end of the quarter there for a couple of years, there'd be a huge rush to, get as many Teslas out of California as they could. It sent transportation prices through the roof. They've obviously changed some things up because we haven't seen that in probably over a year now. So, yeah. I mean, it's mostly stabilized. So, no, I haven't seen too much in terms of the EVs affecting anything in the transportation in terms of delays.
Okay.
So you would disagree with the assessment that it's going to cause problems in the future, or you just don't see them now?
I don't see them now. As they become more prevalent or there's more in abundance, then there probably will be some challenges, from the fact that they're going to lose, if they lose charges, how are we going to get them on trucks? I mean, right now, there could be a lot of problems. It could eat up capacity, when there's that many out there, but there's just not enough out in the secondary market to cause delays. I don't see that happening this year. Probably not the year after that, but maybe in 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, especially if they're going to hold this whole 2035, or 2030, whatever it is. I forgot now, but, which I don't think is going to happen, but anyway, go ahead, Charity. Didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, I did.
No, that's fine. You did cut me off.
Proceed.
Now I can't remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
It's okay. We can move on.
No problem. I'll take it from the top.
You can be the host. I'll be the
Yeah,
co-host.
you can be the co-host. Yeah. Okay. So Mike, what do you guys do? Like, tell us how do you alleviate these problems or these potential problems for dealers? Like, tell us a little bit about what your offering is.
Sure. So, for us, like I said, I've been in the industry for 7 or 8 years. And, from a technology standpoint, car hauling has been in the past. You can make an argument that, we're still stuck in the 1990s. And, we need to jump now. Well, I guess it's almost 3 decades now. I used to say it was 2 decades. But we pretty much need to jump 3 decades. And a few of the products that we brought to the market for dealers is our Montway Automation Portal, or what we call MAP. And, we have this in probably over about 100 dealerships now. And we really, really hit it hard here to start the year. So the adaption's been pretty quick. And what it does is it allows dealers to quote a car, book a car, and track the vehicle all in one portal. So instead of having, 50 carriers calling them for that one unit that they have sitting in Michigan and they need to get back to California, all they do is put in the VIN number, book the quote, put in the address, and the car gets, the car's dispatched within 2.5 days on the average. And we have it on their lot, in California to Michigan's probably about 5 days. So in 7 days.
So
And,
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand how this works. It's just the way my mind operates. But so if I'm hearing you correctly, I go into your portal. There's a bunch of transporters connected to it some way, somehow. I put in a request, hey, I need this car picked up, whatever. And then they bid, they give me an estimate of time, delivery, cost, all that stuff. And I choose the one that's quicker. And
little different than what you're thinking, but close. Okay. So, for us, it's just one price. That price is going to come in, let's say, California or Michigan to California, and that price comes out to $1,000. That's the price you pay, and that's it. And then you book it. So, what's nice, what we're finding is, dealers are able to run quotes before they buy cars. So they have an idea of what that transportation cost is before they even bid on the unit. So they can kind of have that transportation cost, that extra $1,000. So if they can buy that car for $20,000, they know the buy fee, and then the $1,000 for transport. They know what they're into that car for before they even purchase that car. They know what their top money that they'll pay for it is. So we've had some success stories where, there's some bigger dealers that are using it down in Texas right now. And, the lanes that they said they were buying, now we're finding they're buying different lanes. So, kind of asked them what changed. And they said, the ability to quote and know how much it is, like Kansas City isn't a place I've ever really bought from. But frankly, the transportation is better than me buying in Georgia. And so now, and they also have the cars I want in Kansas City. So then they get the book and they get it. Another thing that dealers like is that, they can put the orders in on Saturday. If they're sitting in the store on Saturday, they bought a few cars, they put the orders in on Saturday. And, we've had a few times where they put them in on Saturday and the car's been showing up on Monday night or Tuesday morning right on their lot versus having to wait till Monday, to put the car in, and getting the car Wednesday, Thursday. We're really increasing what we, or decreasing their overall cycle time and making, and adding a couple days back to their turn that usually are ate up in transportation.
So can the reason it saves you time is why? Because because you're connecting them to a multitude of potential transporters and they can consolidate, or how does it save the dealer time? Sure.
So we're a third party logistics company, right? Or what the industry term is as known as broker. The difference between us is, and a regular broker is that we've been in business for 16 years. We have a network of carriers that are really good at moving one car at a time. So once that dealer places that order, we have a whole operations and dispatch team that are calling the carriers and taking that and assigning that order to them, offering them that. We're basically shopping that for them. So we're kind of like that managed service operation So where we save them time and is one, they don't have to field the phone calls from carriers if they're, using like a public load board. So, I mean, that's one of the things. We've had a few GMs, that have seen the demo and say, yeah, I want that because I want my used car manager desking deals, training their salespeople and developing them, not talking to transport companies. So that's one big benefit in terms of time saving. The other one is that we do move the cars quick. Our average days to pick up by the time you place an order, we average 2.5 days, and then it's just the transit days after that. So that's where we're really picking up even more time or speed.
And the experience for the customers, I'm assuming it's a platform that you log in and you have access to, and you can, quote from there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Does it cost anything for the dealerships to be on it, or they can go and do their business there and they only pay if they actually use the services?
Yeah, they only pay if they book the order and we move the car.
That's pretty cool, man. I know in this market that we're in this environment, I mean, dealers are shopping everywhere. So that speed of, that frontline ready time has significantly been impacted, right? And so anywhere that you can save even a day, it makes all the difference in the world. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, one of the other things we do as well is with larger shippers or larger dealerships, I mean, we'll get in there and we'll do a monthly review of performance, sometimes it's the dealer principal, sometimes it's the controller, sometimes the GM, sometimes the used car manager, and go over, our performance, whether it's in, certain lanes where we're quicker, where their cost is, if it's possible to shift to this area, you could even save more costs in transportation. So, we do our best to provide, a good ROI for using our technology, and just really trying to, manage costs, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, transportation is a pure expense. Right. It's not it can save you money, but can't make you money.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of where we look to partner, with our customers to figure out, hey, what's the best thing we can do for you, and take that consultative approach.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously there's a bunch of benefits there. If you can, like I said, if you can reduce that time of pickup and delivery, I mean, that's a way to kind of help that dealer make money quicker. And then obviously the sooner you get the car there available, the more chances I've seen stores that the car gets there and it's already 50 days old, 30 days old, 40 days old, and you've lost that time of profitability, right? Especially because they're keeping these, I don't know why they do this, but they put all their inventory on the website, even if they don't have the car. And so they kind of turn the clock on the age of that unit. So,
I have a question, but it's kind of it's a pivoting question.
Pivot away. Pivot.
You said that you started in rentals.
I did, yeah.
So is that kind of a natural progression? It seems like it would be a natural progression. Rentals, as you guys are talking, I think, obviously we're working in used cars and logistics a lot with rental companies. So is that a natural progression into hauling? Is that normally what people progress that way?
Not necessarily. I think that the customer mix is really similar, right? I mean, when you're working in rental, I worked in remarketing, so we were wholesaling the rental cars back to the dealerships, selling them at the auctions, etc. And then when I came into car hauling, the company wanted to go after the secondary market or the used car market. So, having that familiarity with dealerships, having sold some cars, on a small scale with enterprise car sales, I was able to be able to identify and build more of a sales organization that was able to go after that piece of the business. And I mean, car haul itself has been, it's been a fragmented industry. and it's built up of a lot of small business owners. And the one thing the small business owners can't do is they can't be their own sales force and drive their own truck. They do it, and they do a great job, don't get me wrong, but on a mass scale, right? That's not scalable. And that's where, third-party logistics companies like Montway can come in and be their sales arm, right? And ultimately be the person that sells for them and then provides them the work. So, and that's kind of starting to defragmentize, what is a fragmented industry, which in the long run is good because, as you guys know, our industry in general, the auto industry is becoming a little more corporate ran. Dealership groups are combining. Acquisition is a huge thing, and it's the owners now can be more boardroom people too now, and it's just more of a corporate structure, and things are looked at differently as you evolve as a business and you have that corporate structure. So it's a good thing to have a logistics partner managing that, especially when you have 8, 10, 20, 35 stores, because you can see the overall cost at each store. Because there's some stores that are doing it on their own may be getting a great deal, and then your sister store, 100 miles away, might be overpaying. So at the end of the day, for the overall corporation, is it a good deal to not centralize the transportation? I think overall there's a cost savings there when you look at centralizing the transportation and use the managed service like Montway.
Well, expanding on that a little bit, like the future, I foresee a gap in the market, kind of like the guys that started, the thing with the pod, right? So this guy he first started with those buildings that those places that you build a storage and people go. And then he was like, man, this seems very old fashioned. Like there's got to be a better way. And so he came up with the container idea and all that jazz. Right. And then it evolved the industry. I think we're at a place right now in the automotive space where we got to start thinking about single unit transportation. Right? Because if this thing really goes in the direction that everybody wants it to go and it's pushing for, and I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, but within the next 10 years, I do foresee online purchases becoming more and more of a thing. And so it's not convenient or you can't offer the Carvana-esque type of experience with the traditional way of transportation, right? So I feel like there's an opportunity for an innovator or somebody in the space to really come in and, hey, you, Mr. Dealer, do your thing, and I'm going to offer you the transportation that is personalized to your customer or something to that effect, right? Where the customer does everything. Somebody goes, picks up the car and takes it directly to the customer's front of their house, drops the car off, do the whole deal, the paperwork, all that stuff, and then the driver leaves. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? What do you think?
No, agree. I think that's something that all transport companies are trying to figure out with, partners. It gets into the whole, my favorite topic, digital retailing, because I think everyone needs to, who knows what digital retailing means today.
Right. To me, it means glorified lead widget. That's it. So it certainly doesn't mean buy your car online and just wait at home in your pajamas for your car to show up. It does not mean that at all.
So we actually have a home delivery widget that dealers can put on their VDP page, right? And it gives a transportation quote, et cetera, and they can book now. And Montway itself, we were founded 16 years ago, moving one car at a time. And originally we were founded for moving consumers, whether you're a snowbird, going from Michigan to Florida or, the northeast of Florida, or if you're moving your house or, just in general, a car enthusiast moving cars. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason I joined Montway was for what you exactly said, which is, I saw the market, that moving single units was going to be really important. Now, did I know COVID was going to happen? Absolutely not. But, that's kind of where I thought the market was going. And I thought pairing up with a company that specializes in that would be, a fantastic thing. And it obviously, unfortunately, COVID did happen, but moving single cars is our specialty. When I talk to dealers and customers, and I say that we love moving singles, they say that I'm the first person that's ever said that to them.
That's
So
pretty good.
Yeah.
So
You guys should
you guys should buy Carvana, and then you have the infrastructure, and then everybody wins. Carvana becomes a single transportation company, and no more selling used cars. And we take that back to the dealership. You save them, make money. There you go. Solved it.
I like it. Yeah, but the piece. I mean, we do a lot of home delivery, but the piece that you said that's the tough piece, right? That's the piece everyone's trying to figure out.
Sure.
How do you do the paperwork?
Yeah. That was going to be my question, is because I've been hearing a lot more about dealerships running into fraud situations, and so your driver is becoming your notary. Is that like, or they? I
mean, we don't get it. That's really hard to do. And I mean, we're definitely trying to be innovative and try to think of ways to do those type of things. But
mobile finance office, that's the answer to that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I'll let you open that one up, though.
So, I mean, you have the driver go up. There's a mobile finance office that does business. The transportation, they connect. The mobile office goes to the place. They do the deal right there with the customer while they're lowering the car and all that stuff. And then the driver leaves and the mobile office guy leaves, and there you go. Solved. Solved that one too.
You're on fire today.
I mean, we're complicating stuff that's not that complicated. Let's just, we have the technology. Like, let's just get this thing done.
What's next?
I mean, if you guys saw that movie, what was it called? Oh, come on. The car dealership movie where they take the desk outside. The guy's like, oh man, they were on my podcast. How can I forget this? Oh, I'm going to feel like such an ass. Anyways, we're going to have to reference it in the show notes. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, the guy's like, I'm not going inside. And then the salesman brings the desk outside and does the deal outside. Like, let's make the shit happen, man.
I was just having a conversation with, on a different episode, and we were talking about how the automotive industry has, like, the way that the type of car that you buy has changed so much. There is like so many different options. It was the Model T, and now it's like anything you can possibly think of under the sun. And we're still stuck on these old, you either buy it in the dealership or you buy it from Carvana. Like, there's one or the other. There's not really any kind of nuance to that the dealerships are stuck with these absolutes in an environment of non-absolutes.
But they're not really. I mean, dealerships have been selling cars online for years, before Carvana was, as a matter of fact. They just don't promote it because they want control, and they want people in the box, and they want to, they want loyalty.
Right.
And they
but
want
all you have to do is take the desk outside, or come to the customer. Offer a solution to the customer.
And look, I say that, and I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some rules or something, and why somebody hasn't come up with a mobile finance office.
Right. Like, as soon as I said that, I was like, it's not all you have to do, because like, what, you're gonna make all of your drivers notaries? Like,
yeah. So anyway, Mike, thanks so much for doing this, man. This has been a good conversation. I really appreciate it. There is one question that we ask everybody that comes on the show, and that question is, where do you see the automotive industry headed in the next 5 years, and why?
Ooh, 5 years. That's a good one. I'm just hoping to figure out this year. No, I think that we're starting to return to that pre-COVID cycle, in my opinion. You've seen the residual values of cars go up in January and February, and a lot of people were surprised by that, outside of the industry. But it is getting to be tax time. I think there's going to be some stabilization at some point between March, April, May, June. And then I think that some inventory is going to show back up in August and September. I think there's going to be a chance rental car companies get to refreshing up their fleet, getting to purchase some cars from the manufacturers. And when that happens, that usually starts to have a surplus in the market. I think that the big caveat, I think, is you're going to probably see the repossession business pick up over the next couple of years, which also puts more cars back into the marketplace. So I think, knock on wood, I do believe in the next, call it year and a half, you're going to start to see more cars in the market. If you ask me about the next year 3, 4, and 5, if it follows a typical cycle, interest rates will eventually go back down. There'll be another election, and we'll see what happens there. But hopefully, interest rates and inflation and everything starts to go back in the other direction, and then we'll be cruising in 24, 25.
Right on. There you have it, folks. Mike, thanks again for joining us, and thank you for tuning in. That's all the time that we have for today, and as usual, we'll talk later.
We only host a well-respected. The vendor LexisNexis. We don't sell digital marketing. What you do? We inspect it with our DT vendor management.
Now more than ever, businesses need more efficient sales. That's why thousands of dealerships trust 4Eyes to help with things like automated inventory email updates and ensuring all of your leads get into the CRM. To try 4Eyes for free, visit 4eyes.io/dealer talk. That's 4eyes.io/dealer talk.